Like, there's just gonna be differences, and if you are a spender and you know that, you have to make sure that you are.
Or do you think I'm a spender because I had to save for so long? Do you think I've always been a spender?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I mean, me and Christina, we talk about this. So
really?
she said that she would rather like get nice clothes and stuff like that instead
on a budget.
Instead of eating, instead of the food that we eat.
Yeah.
Me, I'd rather spend top dollar on the food that I.
No, I still want to eat,
body.
but it doesn't have to be gourmet.
Yes, it does. All right, guys, here we go. Another episode of Matrimony and Money with Sherman and Cristina. And today we're going to be talking about money personalities. Now, I want to give a little caveat before we get started on this. This is not meant for you and your partner to get into a fight. You guys already know where you are. Yeah, you're going to see people going to try to change it. Oh, I'm really not. You are what you are, right? So don't worry. And here's the thing. If you don't know, simply go to our website, www.no-debt-life.com, and you can take the free quiz. I'll put in the show notes and everything, so don't worry about that. So we
Is it a dash or an underscore?
Oh, so that I just said a dash.
No, I think it's an underscore.
I know for a fact it's a dash. No dash.
Like how? Like no and then dash?
Yes. No dash debt dash life.
I thought it was underscore, but okay.
So here's the thing. The 4 money personalities, and I have some notes today because I want to make sure we don't mislabel anyone on the Matrimony and Money podcast. So let's talk about the 4 that we have, right? We have the saver, right? Who loves security, hates waste, feels anxious when money leaves. That's the saver. The spender sees money as joy, experiences, and living life. The avoider would rather not think or talk about money at all, right? Just, hey, whatever, deal with it. And then we have the planner, the one who loves to budget, controls, want to know exactly where every dime is going and all of that stuff, right? So just hearing those, obviously we're going to talk about, so me, personally, I am a saver. Just naturally, I'm okay with.
Can I say something?
Hold on. I'm just saying, I'm a saver and sort of a planner too.
Yeah. I was just going to say that. I think there's certain seasons that we all go through.
Nah.
Yes, because I was a saver.
I've never been a spender like that. I've never been a spender. Are you talking about when we were like 17? I mean, you talking about when we were like 17? Maybe then when I was a child.
I'm just saying there's seasons.
But then,
there's seasons, not 17. I mean, we had kids by then. But I'm just saying, like...
We had kids by when?
Like when we had Caden, first off, you were the spender. And I was the saver. Yes.
25. Nah. Anyway, see, you guys are seeing.
No. But the one who, like, I was the avoider.
Okay.
And the saver.
Okay.
During a long season.
Okay.
Then I became the planner. Like for a long, I just became a spender like recently.
But you're doing a great job at that.
Thank you.
I just want to give you kudos. Shout out. Everyone, shout out to my wife. She's an incredible spender. When she does something, she does it with excellence.
But I do still budget, and I still do like coupon and discounts and all that. I still do that.
Coupon?
Not like,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
Like if there's like, yeah, it's actually like if there's a sale, like
yeah,
in the store, and they have like a $10 off 50 coupon, I'm going to use it.
Well, I mean, yes. That's true.
Like I look for them. I don't just like spend willy-nilly.
You still take a deal.
Yeah, I'm a deal. I'm a deal person.
Don't say coupon it now. I mean,
that is a coupon, honey. Coupon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That is a coupon, right? Like if you have, like if you go online before you spend, and then you're like, you know, any coupon codes? It's a coupon.
So, as you guys hear this, right? We're going back and forth, having a good time with
seasons. There are seasons. I believe for people like me, then I guess.
Yeah, ebbs and flows, I guess. So tell me this, because what do you like about me being a saver and a planner, and what are some of the things that sort of I I wish he wouldn't quite be that way. Like, what do you think of some of those things?
No, I love everything about you being a planner and a saver. I love everything. I love that you plan everything, that you, because I was that for so long, so I get it and I sympathize with it and I respect it. And I know I'm a spender. It's like,
Yes, that's
I feel like
Spanish.
Alcoholics Anonymous. That's what I feel like I am. But I know I'm a spender, but I love that we budget that part of me and the rest is taken care of. Like when we meet about the savings, when we meet about the budget or the, you know, like the line items, I don't question, you know, I love that works for you. And I love that there's only one of us in the relationship.
Well, that was going to bring me sort of.
Because when you spend, then I don't care. Because I know like you really want something or, you know, whereas I have to like budget my actual spending.
I mean, that was gonna bring me to the next thing. Here's the thing, if we're being honest, most of the time, opposite sort of attract, right? So that's totally normal, guys, right? One person's gonna be A, the other person's gonna be Z, and that's totally fine. But you have to figure out how to work together,
right,
and not against each other, right? A lot of times when we talk to couples about, you know, their spending and budget and all of that, they're sort of arguing or bickering back and forth because the spouse isn't like the other spouse, and that's fine, right?
Yeah, because even though we were like, when the kids were little, you know, when we were starting, especially when we were starting our business and bringing the kid, you know, the kids home to homeschool, we were both savers, but I was still more inclined to spend on something.
Yeah.
And I think budget, like line items are different. Like you spend more on food, like you would probably spend more on like the grocery bill or whatever than I would have, where I could eat the same things all day, every day. And, but I would want like cute clothes or, you know, buy Ariana pretty bows and stuff like that. And I would budget for that. So I think we were both savers and planners in different seasons, but I think naturally, like deep down, I've always been the spender and he's always been the saver.
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of this stuff, again, there's no right or wrong, good or bad necessarily. But
I think there's bad if you ain't got a budget. To be a spender, that's bad.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah,
if you can't.
But I'm just saying, like, there's just gonna be differences, and if you are a spender and you know that, you have to make sure that you are.
Or do you think I'm a spender because I had to save for so long? Do you think I've always been a spender?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I mean, me and Christina, we talk about this. So really? She said that she would rather like get nice clothes and stuff like that
on a budget
instead of eating, instead of the food that we eat. Yeah, I'd rather spend top dollar on the food that I.
No, I still want to eat, but it doesn't have to be gourmet.
Yes, it does. Okay. I would rather eat the best food in the world.
Maybe that's why I had heart issues.
And wear shorts and a t-shirt.
The same shorts and a t-shirt you wore 20 years ago.
I mean, it works.
It's the truth, actually. We got pictures.
So yeah, I really do enjoy how, you know, like we can really have this conversation because, again, the silence and not talking about it is really what gets in between couples, and then someone inevitably ends up blowing up about the money side. So, you know, if you're listening to this, I would say you and your spouse definitely take the quiz, right? It'll be in the show notes. And then you guys really sit down and talk about that, right? Like we have No Debt Life Starter Kit. That's free. They have a workbook that costs a little bit, but there's free resources on our site for you guys to not sort of just stay stuck, right? I mean, think about it. We really think about this. I mean, we did the same thing. There was a couple paying off debt way before us, and we were just like, we really don't know how, so we sort of did. And then same thing with us. The people, when we first started, they were like, "Hey, you guys are crazy. I don't know if I could do it." And then now that we've done it, we're on the other side, they're still stuck with all of that debt when in actuality, if you make some sacrifices, you will get on the other side. And I can assure you that being on the other side is worth it. Do you think? I mean, would you agree that the sacrifice was definitely worth it?
It was worth it. And I think your attitude and contentment in those seasons is so important, because we always talk about this too, how, yes, I think it was worth it now, but I also don't feel like I was miserable then,
Yeah.
because the fact of it is we had a budget, we were making X amount of money. We were doing our best to change that and increase that, but at the end of the day, we had what we had and we were content. I feel like we always were content where we were. We lived a happy, content life. We didn't fight or argue about money.
The silence. We didn't fight or argue about it, but it was stressful.
It was stressful, but life is stressful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, things happen in life, flows happen, and then you're just scrambling. But we were content with our marriage. We were content with our children. We were content where we were at. And we just knew, I think just when you don't have much, that's just the way it is. Like, I think it would be harder to now go back to like having to be super strict and like decrease your budget, which happens sometimes in life. People go through things that that put them in that situation, but I would hope that we would still be content with what we had no matter what we had. And I feel like that's always been the case in our marriage. And it may be because we got married super young and didn't have much and had to scrape, and we just got used to that style of living for so long. But I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I think contentment is just wherever you're at, just put your head down, start working for it, but you can't be miserable doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, something you touched on just now, you were saying you think it'd be harder to go back to having to, count every penny, stuff like that. That's why for me, obviously being an athlete, ex-athlete now, but like when I see the professional athletes go broke, like I really feel bad for them, because most of these guys, they didn't come from money. They get a boatload of money early, and they just don't know how to handle it. They got to take care of mom, dad, cousins,
They don't know how to manage, right?
Right? They don't know how to say no.
Yeah.
And then when you become our age, after you retire and the money runs out, like,
yeah,
that has to be a horrible place to be.
And I've seen people do it and come out of it and build businesses and do different things, and God calls them to new seasons. So it's not to say that we can't enter into a new season where it looks differently than what it does now.
But you don't have to. I mean, I'm talking specifically about someone that has a lot. You don't have
and
to come
blows
into,
it.
You don't have to come into a new season if you just
not wise decisions, not having
manage.
accountability, not seeking out help, and a couple or financial advisor or something to.
And that's something else for you couples, for you guys that are listening to this. If you're single, you can sort of do whatever you want, but you couples, like, you guys have to figure out who and where you are going to give money. If you're going to loan money, you should never loan money. Ever. I don't care. Mom, dad, do not ever loan money. If you can't afford to give it away, don't give it to them, right? Someone comes to you and says, hey, I need to borrow $200. Don't do it unless you can give them the $200. Let's say you can only give them.
But what if they pay you back?
No, they're not going to have a chance to pay me back, so I'm not going to loan them money. I try to stay away from that, because
yeah, we stay away from that
more often than not. Yeah, I'd rather give you.
But there were seasons where we had a loan.
Like, you want to borrow $200, I'd rather just give you $50.
It is nice if you get it back, because like when you sacrifice, and I just think about different seasons where we did help out and loan, and it was, I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it again. No, I don't loan out money,
Pray
guys.
about it.
Don't loan out money. It cause don't lose close friends and family over money.
That's true.
Some people gonna get pissed when you say no, but it's better for you to say no and not have to deal. Because then when you have to call them, and now they have amnesia about the money they owe you. It's just best to.
Well, that's a biblical principle.
It's just best for you and your spouse to get on board what you're gonna do with your money, and just let it be. Because if I'm being totally honest, one of us in a relationship would basically give away to every single person in need, and our family may be on the streets.
I still do.
And it's not me. So, but seriously, you guys see how we have different money personalities. But I would say one of the things you guys have to really focus on is figuring out how to make that a superpower, right? And
There has to be a balance.
yeah, correct. There has to be a balance. And when I say that, for instance, give you guys a real world example. When I say I'm a saver, yes, I'm a saver. I don't spend necessarily a lot of money day to day, but
He does not spend at all.
but there are some specific things that I like to do. I'll give you one of them. I love travel. Now I'm gonna change it. I love luxury travel. So
He's so pretty.
whatever, right? So I want to
You work hard for your money. So.
I want to fly first class. I want to stay in 5-star resorts. I want to eat the best food.
Not always, honey.
I mean, I want to.
You want to. Yeah,
always.
yeah.
I mean, if I didn't have these kids, I mean, when we go on a trip with the family, it's not luxury travel.
If we didn't have kids, we could do that.
Because the kids don't.
Maybe.
Because the kids don't need to be.
Maybe we could.
But
yes, that would be ideal.
But
that's
yeah,
your ideal.
Correct.
Yes.
Like that's my ideal.
That's where you would put your money.
And that's where I would put my money. So again, when I say that, if one of you guys is a saver, you still need to have some areas where you spend money, enjoy it. Because here's the thing, you can say that I've listened to so many podcasts, specifically from Ramit Sethi with I Would Teach You to Be Rich. There's people with millions and millions of dollars who still coupon. They're like, that's not living your best life, guys. So
Maybe you like it though.
no, you don't. No, I mean, if you listen to that podcast, it's more stress because again, just like this, they're different money personalities. So one of them just like, we can't afford it. The other was like, what do you mean we have $7 million net worth? What do you mean we have to drive to the other side of town to get the blueberries that are on sale?
But on another flip side, there are some things that sometimes you put a dollar amount to. Like for instance, a sweater. I wouldn't pay $6,000 for a sweater. There's people that will.
See, I
or
disagree.
a purse.
See, I disagree with that.
So there's
though.
people, we all have what we will spend our money on. What is it that you always say? People spend money on what they want.
Oh, people spend money on what's important to them.
What's important to them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just depends on what's important to you.
Well, I mean, so like you were saying, like you wouldn't spend $6,000 on a sweater, just using that example. I say that's not necessarily true, I don't think, for most people, because here's the thing, it's all about the budget and the money and the income. If I made $20 million a year, you're trying to tell me that you would spend $60,000?
I'm trying to tell you that, yes.
I disagree with that.
Because I don't value certain things.
I disagree with that.
I just don't value sweaters.
Okay, hey,
Unless, I don't know.
Maybe so.
Unless I have, like my kid's face is etched on them, then I probably would. I don't know.
So,
but that's a good point. That's something to think about.
Yeah, I mean,
you have to worry about that right
now.
now.
No, 20 million. we got to
not a worry of mine. So.
But yeah, guys. So like seriously, you have to figure out how to make those differences a superpower. Like I enjoy the money meetings. I enjoy the budgeting. I enjoy knowing we have this amount coming in, this is how much going out. We're saving this amount of our income every single month. This amount is going into retirement. Like that fires me up, right? Like I'm on cloud nine when I get to do that monthly. Like I love it. Do you love that?
I don't. I'm sorry.
No, I mean that's fine. I mean, so you see, like that's the thing. Sitting, if it was up to me, we would sit down and talk about this every week. We would say, okay, how much did we spend this week? Blah blah blah. But I know it's a little too much for my wife. It's a little too.
I'd just rather not spend.
So
let's not talk about.
Oh, is that easy? Monthly?
Maybe.
I mean, weekly meeting instead of monthly. Yeah, but seriously though, like you have to figure out what worked for you guys. And again, when I say that Cristina is a spender, like here's one of the things I look back on. Cristina has never made me feel like, oh, like what I'm doing isn't good enough. Or if I said, honey, I don't think we can afford that, or I don't think that would be a good financial move for us right now, she's always like, all right then, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I know in a lot of relationships, it's like, hey, I don't think we should do that, honey. And then someone's getting upset because they're not getting exactly what they want. And I think that's the piece of it where you have to really sit down and have these money talks when it's not super stressful.
And not humble yourself and listen to each other and listen to what's important to each other and what makes the person excited, what stresses them out. My thing is I never wanted to be a burden to my husband. So when I came into marriage, that was one thing that was top notch for me. Like, I don't want to be a burden in any way to put any kind of stress. Whatever God calls you to do, it is what it is. I support it. And as long as it's morally acceptable, I want to be your biggest cheerleader. So that's one thing that even prior to marriage, I've always been to you, I think. And I've always been good at, because it comes natural to me to encourage and to see money bear on you, like negatively affect you.
Yeah.
That would not be fulfilling for me. So it's like a love and respect thing. Like, I respect what you're trying to do and I understand where we're at. And I'm content with that.
And, again, talking about the whole different personalities, you guys have to figure out how to make that into the superpower, right? Let's just say I'm a saver, she's a spender. What does that equal? That's sort of like a balance, right? Right? That creates balance, because it's up to me when we spending anything, blah, 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 this
Ever.
and that. But that's not realistic. So wherever you guys are, after you figure out how to work together, not against each other. Again, there's no right, there's no wrong. You guys have to figure out how to get to where you want to be, right?
You're a team.
Because I remember when we were $203,000 in debt, I could not see the end of it. I couldn't see how we were gonna pay it off. And I remember one of my good buddies, when we started paying off the debt, he was like, "Hey man, I'm so proud of you that you're gonna be debt free." And I was like, "Well, I hope I am." He was like, No. He was like, "You are going to be debt free." He's like, "You've already started it."
Yeah, that encouraging.
He was like, "You don't quit when you start something." And I remember, like, just, okay, I guess I am going to be debt free. And again, I remember that last day, made that payment. It's just such a good feeling.
God was faithful.
And I want other couples to get there. But it does take a little bit of sacrifice. It does get uncomfortable. It's not fun for 2-3 years paying off debt. Like it's not fun per se.
Yeah.
But it is fun once it's over. I mean, that's for sure.
And then there's another, we'll talk about this on another episode, obviously, but then more money, more problems. So there goes that. That's why being content is important, and being grounded and having communication with each other is vital. And having your expectations kind of stated.
Yeah.
Because unrealistic expectations kills marriages. Those are important things that we'll discuss.
So I believe, I'm going to give you guys a practical tip. Listening to this right now, you and your spouse, you guys need to sit down, take the quiz together. It'll be in the show notes. Take the quiz together and sit down and talk about it. No judgment. Really figure out how you guys are going to do this, because that's going to be a game changer. That's step one, right? You do that, now you're on the right track, right? Because again, too often, no one's really talking about it. Everyone sort of just knows. They sort of put that credit card bill. But if you really sit out and do the thing, right? Building that debt list, getting ready for the snowball. I love the debt snowball over the avalanche method, but that's just personal preference. But if you really get locked in, I assure you that you will pay off the debt sooner than you think, right? Because when we wrote down the math, we thought it was going to take us about 5-ish years, right?
Yeah, but God showed up.
No, I'm not saying God. I'm just saying, but like,
because what a lot of people don't
work.
understand is that we actually, like, our income increased during a pandemic when all gyms were shut down. We were in the gym industry. So for it to increase while the world was shutting down, especially in this, in the, what would we call it? The luxury items of life. Those things were shutting down. We were so blessed. So it's hard for me. Yes, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
yep, it's true. And it's way
before
practically.
God showed up, when we sat down and did that math.
Yeah. No, I thought it was going to take us way longer than even that.
5 years or something.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, man, I don't know, man.
It was a mountain.
Like, man, do we 5 years is going to be a long time of not doing a lot,
Right.
right? Not having to,
Yeah.
not go on vacations and do stuff like that.
Big sacrifice, especially when you count how old your kids are and how old
I
they
remember that was
will
a big.
be.
I remember that was a big one for you.
It was. I'm
Trying
like,
to cut
oh
out
my
the kids' age.
gosh, we're missing out on everything. But
So, really, guys, like, um, understanding your money personalities definitely doesn't change everything overnight, right? We're not sitting right here and say, "Oh, once you do that," no, but it's a great starting point. And once you really start working on it, now you're going to be more empathetic and really understand, like, man, we can really do this. Because I don't want anyone to think like they're broken, right? Because a lot of times one of the people in the relationship is very astute and loves keeping up with the money, and at times that can come off as prideful, so they make the other person feel like they're broken or something. No one is broken, just wired totally differently when it comes to this thing, and that's a great thing, right? Like, both of you guys are wired the way you should be wired. Now you just have to come together and figure out how to make it work. So, guys, we're gonna get out of here. I'm not gonna keep you any longer, but as always, tell a friend. Oh no, hold on. So, I was supposed to tell you guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. We're gonna try to grow the YouTube. That's why we're filming it. And if you're just listening on the podcast, obviously subscribe to that. That helps us help more couples. That's our goal. We want to help tons of couples. One day we're gonna meet tons of you guys when we started recording a podcast from our living room. So, if you're listening, to subscribe, YouTube, Apple, everywhere, whatever. If you're watching it, listening to it. Now, as I was saying, as always, tell a friend to tune in, and we will chat with you guys next week. All right.